Let me tell you about the Galactic Habitability Index, or as I like to call it, the universe's way of saying, please don't die here. For the past 3,000 years, every civilized species in the galaxy has relied on the GHI to determine whether a planet is suitable for colonization, resource extraction, or just a nice vacation spot where you won't immediately dissolve into your constituent atoms. The system is beautifully simple. A team of xenobiologists, atmospheric scientists, and very stressed-out geologists evaluate each world on a scale of 0 to 100. Anything above 70? Paradise. Build your retirement villas. Between 40 and 70? Perfectly workable with standard terraforming. 20 to 40? You'll need some serious infrastructure, but it's doable. Below 20? The galactic equivalent of a skull and crossbones warning label.so when the survey team submitted their report on Verglas 7, a delightful little rock in the Epsilon Carina system, and that planet scored a jaw-dropping 2.1 out of 100, the entire Galactic Council assumed it was a clerical error. Surely, they thought, someone had accidentally switched the decimal point. They ran the assessment 3 more times, nope. 2.1.to put that in perspective. A planet that rains sulfuric acid scored a 12. A world with 18-hour-long electrical superstorms rated a 9.6. Verglas 7 made those places look like resort destinations. The council immediately slapped a level 5 quarantine on it, added about 47 warning beacons in orbit, and filed it under cosmic mistakes we pretend don't exist. Then humanity found it, and if you know anything about humans, you already know how this story ends. Ambassador Thelnax of the Churi Collective, a species so cautious they wear protective suits in climate-controlled rooms, delivered the official warning broadcast with all the enthusiasm of someone reading a death certificate. Which, let's be honest, it basically was. Attention all spacefaring civilizations, Thelnax's 3 voice boxes harmonized in bureaucratic monotone. The Galactic Council hereby issues a comprehensive advisory regarding planetary body designated Verglas 7, coordinates appended. This world has been classified as uninhabitable by unanimous vote. He adjusted his 7 data tablets and continued. Atmospheric composition includes oxygen levels fluctuating between 18 and 28%. Because apparently this planet couldn't decide if it wanted visitors to suffocate or spontaneously combust. Surface temperature variance ranges from -60 to +73 degrees Celsius within a single rotation cycle. That's -76 to 163 Fahrenheit for anyone keeping score at home. Tectonic activity registers at catastrophic levels, with an average of 200 seismic events per standard day. Volcanic eruptions occur weekly. The planet experiences electrical storms of unprecedented magnitude, generating lightning strikes exceeding 2 billion volts. Thelnax paused, his gill slits fluttering with what might have been distress. Preliminary surveys indicate the native megafauna are predominantly apex predators with aggressive territorial behaviors. Gravity measures 1.3 standard. Atmospheric pressure varies unpredictably due to extreme weather systems. In the assembly chamber, the delegate from Proxima Harmony fainted. The crystalline collective representative literally cracked. Someone from the peaceful union of gentle worlds began weeping openly. Furthermore, Thelnax added, somehow making things worse, the planet's magnetic field undergoes periodic inversions, its twin moons create tidal forces capable of generating 100-meter waves, and analysis suggests the local microbiology would find most galactic species delicious. The official designation flashed across every screen, quarantine level, existential. Do not approach. Do not land. Do not even think about it too hard. The galaxy collectively shuddered and moved on. Humans, however, were just getting started. The scout ship, the Audacity, dropped out of hyperspace on a routine survey mission, and Captain Miranda Chen took one look at the sensor readings and actually smiled. This should have been everyone's first warning sign. Vera, confirm those atmospheric readings, Chen said, leaning forward in her chair like a kid spotting a new playground. Captain, I feel obligated to inform you that this planet is rated 2.1 on the Galactic Habitability Index, the ship's AI replied in a tone that somehow conveyed digital concern. The Council has classified it as existentially dangerous. So it's got oxygen? Technically, yes, but the levels fluctuate dramatically and, gravity's 1.3 standard? That's nothing. My grandmother lived in 1.2 G her whole life. Chen was already pulling up the geological surveys. Oh, look at that tectonic activity. Free geothermal energy for days. Her first officer, James Park, crowded next to her screen. Captain, are those voltage readings correct? 2 billion volt lightning strikes. Imagine the power grid possibilities, Chen breathed. I must strongly advise against this enthusiasm, Vera interjected. The temperature swings alone would, -60 to +73 Celsius? Chen laughed. Vera, have you seen the weather in Chicago? This is practically Mediterranean. The science officer, Dr. Yuki Tanaka, was scrolling through the biological surveys. Captain, there are 12 species of apex predators in just the scanned region. Australia had 21 of the world's 25 most venomous snakes, and people still had barbecues there, Park noted. Somewhere on the open galactic frequency, an alien listener made a sound like escaping hydraulic fluid. Chen stood up, decision made. Vera, compile a full planetary analysis and send a proposal to Colonial Command. I'm recommending we establish a settlement. Captain, this is madness. Vera, name one problem this planet has that Earth didn't have worse somewhere. The AI was silent for exactly 4.3 seconds. I withdraw my objection. Shall I suggest New Melbourne for the colony name? Perfect. They'll feel right at home. 6 months after the humans had filed their colonization intent, Ambassador Thelnax received a notification that New Melbourne was submitting their first settlement progress report. He immediately began drafting a memorial service announcement. The Churi had specific protocols for honoring the foolishly deceased, and Thelnax prided himself on proper documentation. Then he opened the transmission. A tanned human male with laugh lines and wearing something called a tank top appeared on screen, grinning like he'd just won a prize. Greetings, Galactic Council. Marcus Rodriguez here, Colony Administrator for New Melbourne. Happy to report we've successfully established primary settlement with a population of 8,432. Thelnax's middle eye twitched. I know you folks were concerned about the atmospheric fluctuations, Rodriguez continued, gesturing casually to something off-screen. Turns out, not really an issue. We just schedule outdoor activities for the stable oxygen periods and wear supplemental breathers during the dips. The kids think the masks make them look cool, so that worked out great. A smaller human child photobombed the transmission, indeed wearing a respirator decorated with bright stickers, before someone pulled them away. The temperature swings were actually a blessing, Rodriguez said. We built our structures with thermal mass storage, so the day heat powers our night heating, and the night cold runs our day cooling. Saved us a fortune on climate control. Our chief engineer says it's the most efficient system she's ever designed. Thelnax tried to process this. They were using the deadly temperature variance as a feature? Now, the lightning storms, those are spectacular. We've got a collection grid that harvests about 60% of our power needs. Every fourth day is what we call Storm Day, basically a holiday where everyone stays inside, watches the light show, and catches up on reading. Very peaceful. Rodriguez chuckled. Last week we had a particularly big one. Blew out some transformers, but hey, that's why we have backups. In the council observation room, the delegate from the Cautious Collective made a sound like grinding glass. The seismic activity keeps things interesting, Rodriguez continued. All our buildings are on adaptive dampeners, earthquake-proof construction, standard stuff. The kids practice drills at school. Honestly reminds me of growing up in California, except the earthquakes here are more punctual. You can almost set your watch by the midday tremors. Punctual earthquakes, Thelnax whispered, his translator struggling with the concept. Oh, and the megafauna. Rodriguez's face brightened even more, which Thelnax hadn't thought possible. Yeah, we've had to establish some perimeter protocols, but mostly they leave us alone if we don't bother their territory. We've even domesticated a few of the smaller predators. My daughter has one as a pet. She named it Fluffy. Thelnax began to wonder if humanity was, perhaps, the universe's idea of a joke. Thresh of the Valerian Hive, chief safety officer for the Galactic Council, descended the landing ramp of her inspection shuttle wearing full environmental protection, triple-layered hazard suit, atmospheric scrubbers, seismic stabilizers in her boots, and a personal shield generator. Her mandibles clicked nervously as she scanned the hostile landscape of Verglas. 7. A group of humans stood waiting on the landing pad wearing shorts and T-shirts. In the rain. Thresh's suit sensors identified the precipitation as having a pH of 4.2. Mildly acidic. The humans were just standing in it, chatting casually, some holding colorful fabric contraptions over their heads. Welcome to New Melbourne. Marcus Rodriguez strode forward, hand extended, rain dripping off his hair. Sorry about the weather. Just a light acid drizzle today. Should clear up in an hour or so. You are not wearing protective equipment, Thresh stated, her translator rendering her mandible clicks into flat observation. For this? Nah, it's barely acidic. More annoying than dangerous. Plays havoc with the paint jobs though. Rodriguez gestured to a nearby building where the coating looked slightly weathered. We repaint every few months. Keeps people employed. Thresh's compound eyes struggled to process this information as her suit's external sensors screamed warnings about atmospheric instability, seismic precursor vibrations, and dangerous fauna within a 2-kilometer radius. The tour began, and Thresh's sanity began its slow decline. Their first stop was the elementary school, where Rodriguez cheerfully explained they just sent a class on a field trip to Lava Valley. Educational purposes, he said. The kids study volcanology firsthand. They wear heat suits, obviously. We're not irresponsible. Obviously, Thresh thought, her mandibles twitching. At the power generation facility, a construction worker named Tom Chen, arms like tree trunks and wearing a shirt that read, "I survived Monday," explained the lightning harvesting system while casually eating lunch during a minor tremor. You get used to the shaking, he said through a mouthful of sandwich. Anything under a 5.0, we don't even pause conversations. A teacher named Patricia Okonkwo showed Thresh the school gardens, where children were learning to cultivate local plants. This variety is mildly toxic to most species, she said, holding up a purple frond, but we've discovered it's perfectly safe for humans after blanching. Tastes like spinach mixed with peppermint. The kids love it in salads. Thresh watched a child, no more than 7 standard years old, pet what the database classified as an apex predator capable of crushing titanium alloys. The creature, covered in scales and sporting 3 rows of teeth, purred like it had found its favorite human. That's Fluffy, Rodriguez said proudly. Biggest softie you'll ever meet. Well, unless you threaten the kids. Then she gets a bit protective. They passed a teenager on a hover scooter who looked profoundly bored. Thresh stopped her. Child, are you not concerned about the dangerous nature of this world? The girl, wearing headphones around her neck, shrugged. I guess. Honestly, it's kind of boring here. Nothing ever happens except storms and earthquakes. I want to transfer to the Mars colonies where there's actually some excitement. Thresh's worldview shattered into component atoms. As evening approached, Rodriguez invited the inspection team to dinner. We're having a cookout. Should be a great electrical storm tonight. Best watching from the community pavilion. You wish to eat outside during an electrical storm rated at 2 billion volts? Well, yeah. The pavilion has a lightning rod system. Perfectly safe. Plus, the steaks taste better when you can watch the light show. Thresh began composing her report mentally. She had no idea where to even start. the dinner pavilion filled with the smell of grilled meat as purple lightning arced across the sky in spectacular displays. Thresh sat rigidly at the table, her team huddled nearby, while humans laughed and passed plates around as though the apocalypse wasn't happening overhead every 30 seconds. "So, Thresh," Patricia Okonkwo said, pouring something called lemonade, "what's your homeworld like?" "Stable," Thresh replied immediately. "Seismically inactive. Atmospheric consistency of 99.4%. Temperature variance of 3 degrees annually. No predators above 50 kilograms. Sounds peaceful," Marcus said diplomatically. "Sounds boring," the teenager from earlier muttered, earning a laugh from nearby adults. Tom Chen leaned forward, beer in hand. "You want to know the funny thing? Verglas 7 is actually pretty tame compared to Earth. At least here the disasters are predictable." Thresh's antennae perked up. "Explain." "Well, Earth had hurricanes that formed randomly, earthquakes with no warning, volcanoes that slept for centuries then destroyed entire cities, and don't even get me started on Australia." Tom counted on his fingers. "We had spiders that could kill you, snakes that could kill you, jellyfish that could kill you, even a few plants that could kill you. And people still went camping for fun." "Fun?" Thresh's translator hiccuped on the word. Patricia jumped in. "Oh, and our sports. We invented activities where humans throw themselves out of aircraft for recreation, slide down mountains on planks, and chase balls while other humans try to tackle them. For entertainment. We also ate peppers that cause pain as a flavor experience," Rodriguez added. "Literally bred plants to be more painful to consume because we enjoyed the challenge." Thresh's mind raced through the implications. "Your species evolved on a death world." "Yep." Tom raised his beer. "And we got bored, so we invented new ways to almost die. Base jumping, free climbing, deep sea diving, eating pufferfish. One wrong move and you're done, but that's what made it exciting." "You are the chaos species," Thresh said slowly, pieces clicking into place. "Every civilization has legends of them. Species that thrive on danger, that see obstacles as invitations, that treat survival as a game." Marcus grinned. "We prefer adaptable, but sure, chaos works." Around the table, humans continued eating as a particularly massive lightning bolt struck the central rod, illuminating everything in brilliant white. They barely glanced up. Thresh watched them, these impossible creatures who had turned a nightmare world into a home, and felt something she hadn't expected: respect. Grudging, confused, slightly horrified respect, but respect nonetheless. "Tell me," she said finally, "do you have any plans to colonize worlds rated above 10 on the habitability scale?" "Actually," Rodriguez said, pulling out a tablet, "we've been eyeing this one planet rated 1.4. Looks challenging." Thresh's mandibles dropped open. Of course they were 0.3 years after Thresh's inspection. The Galactic Habitability Index underwent its first major revision in 3 millennia. Verglas 7, now officially recognized as New Melbourne in all galactic databases, received a new rating, 2.1 out of 100, with an asterisk, the asterisk read, habitable for humans. All other species proceed with extreme caution and full life insurance. The planet that had once been the galaxy's cosmic punchline now hosted a thriving population of 42,000 humans across 6 cities. The Council had created an entirely new classification category called Human-Compatible Hellscapes to account for worlds that would kill most species but that humans considered a bit rough around the edges. Surprisingly, New Melbourne had become a tourist destination. Thrill-seeking aliens from across the galaxy paid enormous sums for carefully supervised, extreme experience vacations, where they could witness humans casually jogging during acid rain, or watch children play sports during seismic events. The Churi Collective offered luxury observation tours from orbit for species too sensible to actually land. Ambassador Thelnax filed his final report with a note that read simply, "Humanity has redefined our understanding of habitability." Recommend updating first contact protocols to include warnings about human residential choices. Thresh, now considered the galaxy's leading expert on human behavior, gave lectures on xenopsychology. Her most popular talk was titled, "They Did What? Understanding Human Risk Assessment." And humanity? They'd already submitted colonization proposals for 4 more uninhabitable worlds, including one rated 0.8 that was technically classified as actively trying to kill visitors. Captain Miranda Chen, now an admiral, looked at the newest survey data and smiled that same dangerous smile. "Vera," she said, "how do you feel about tidally locked planets with radiation storms?" The AI sighed digitally. "Shall I warm up the engines, Admiral?" That's the spirit. Because if there's one thing humanity had taught the galaxy, it's this: your impossible is our sounds like Tuesday. And honestly, the universe was starting to get concerned about what humans considered a challenge.